What's good, guys? Welcome back to Fraud on the Telly. In this video, we are returning to everyone's favorite wacky D&D group and animated fantasy series, Critical Role: The Legend of Vox Machina. Because last week in Campaign 3, Episode 17, we got a huge backstory bombshell that changes how we look at that famous Sun Tree scene. As always, if you enjoyed the video or learned something new, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This video is obviously going to contain spoilers for some of The Legend of Vox Machina, as well as details of Campaign 3 and Campaign 1. Okay, let's crack on. By now, if you've watched my Legend of Vox Machina content, you know that I am obsessed with this Sun Tree scene. Well, events from last week's Critical Role make this scene all the more special. I'm talking about Marisha's character, Laudna, one of the party members whose story is still shrouded in much mystery. Laudna is a human hollowed one, meaning a person who through necromantic magic was resurrected without a soul, but with a sense of self. Laudna is described as a young human female with pale, gaunt skin, big eyes with dilated pupils, and dark lips. Her features are described as almost doll-like, and her movements can be sudden and disorienting. As well, she has pointy gold cuffs resting on the top of her ears, and on her belt is a dead rat with a raven skull she named Pate de Rolo. This was the first of, well, many red flags that Laudna is more than meets the eye. Over time, she tells the party that she was originally from Whitestone, before she was so abruptly resurrected. In a conversation with Liam's character Aurum, Laudna tells us she once was just a normal peasant girl from Whitestone. While she was a young woman, the Briarwoods came and conquered the city, murdering the de Rolo family except for Percy and his once-thought-dead sister Cassandra. Shortly before Vox Machina arrived in Whitestone, Laudna tells Aurum that she and her parents were invited to the Briarwoods castle, and told they were going to serve a greater purpose.
Getting an invitation to the palace, to the castle, to meet the Lord and Lady Briarwood. It's a great boon. We were promised a wonderful feast and an amazing party, and we were told we were going to be serving a greater purpose for Whitestone.
They were given fine clothing and fed a great banquet along with a few other of the townsfolk, when suddenly the Briarwoods had these people killed. From here, they would dock Laudna's ears, making them pointy, resembling elf ears. Then her and the rest of the commoners were dressed and strung from the Sun Tree, a message to the soon arriving Vox Machina. Yep! One of these women here was in fact Laudna. Now we know she was made to look like a half-elf, so that means she was either dressed up to imitate Keyleth or Vex. One would be inclined to believe it was Vex, as Laudna is shown to have dark hair and broad features that somewhat resemble her. However, I wouldn't jump to think this is Laudna right away. We know that the Briarwoods colored the woman who imitated Keyleth's hair, and it seems right up Marisha's alley to play a character that was murdered and made to look like her first character from Campaign 1. Imagine the look on Matt's face when she told him that she wanted to play a nameless NPC that he killed years ago.
I remember being tossed. Clothes to wear. Told to change. Be served a wonderful dinner. And then that was it. They dragged me away, separated me from my parents. Was brutally beaten, and then it's a little fuzzy after that, but next thing I remember was waking up being hung from a tree.
Stuff like this is why I love Critical Role. The extent and depths the players and Dungeon Master go in creating a backstory and world building is just awesome. I love the depth they go in making their characters, and I love how every campaign someone has to make a character with a secret hidden backstory with definite future ramifications, and if that isn't going to happen to Laudna, well, I guess I really am a fraud. We know that Laudna is currently a warlock sorcerer hybrid. Laudna tells us that a blast of necromantic magic hit her, causing her to awaken from the Sun Tree. From there, she left the city and never returned, believing she was somewhere between life and death. The question is, what was this necromantic magic? The first thing that springs to mind was Delilah's failed summoning of Vecna in the Ziggurat of Whitestone. As large amounts of necromantic magic were expended in the process, as well it could have been when Lady Briarwood died the first time, because Laudna says she awakened still hung from the tree. This would imply then that she was brought back to life in a relatively short time span from her death, as I would imagine the bodies hanging from the Sun Tree would have been removed after Vox Machina retook Whitestone. This really does leave a short time period of a few days in which Laudna was killed, hung from the Sun Tree, and then resurrected. This would also explain why Lady Delilah is Laudna's warlock patron, as obviously it was her necromantic magic that in some way resurrected her. Now, how exactly this happened is really hard to know with the information we currently have, but I will say Delilah's lack of appearance in Campaign 3 so far is quite worrisome. Warlocks do not receive their magic for free. There is a bargain that takes place between Warlock and Patron, a give and take, if you will. Delilah is going to want something in return for the boons that she has given Laudna, and it's not hard to think of the things she might want. At the top of the list being her and her husband's resurrection. It doesn't take a keen fan to realize this isn't the last time we've seen the Briarwoods, as we know how ruthless Matt can be when DMing a warlock-patron relationship. Just go ask Percy or Fjord. It's interesting, though, that Delilah can function as a warlock patron. Part of me wonders if part of Delilah's soul actually resides within Laudna. It's possible that part of the patron deal between Laudna and Delilah is that in Laudna's resurrection, it actually kept Delilah alive as well, as a fraction of her being Delilah, might be residing within Laudna. Some real Harry Potter shit. We know that Delilah is very hard to kill, as Vecna resurrected her once already in Campaign 1. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and find out, though. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you think Laudna was brought back to life, and what could Lady Delilah possibly want in return from her? Whatever it is, it's not going to be good. As always, if you enjoyed the video or learned something new, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Go check out some of our other Legend of Vox Machina content, like our full review, episode breakdowns, top 5s, and our Easter egg videos. Click a video on screen now, and as always, I hope to see you in the next one. Stay safe out there, guys. Peace, love, adieu.